Well, if I'm a former president of Botswana, which at the turn of the century, the last century, the 1990s, turned out to be one of the countries most seriously affected by HIV and AIDS. And therefore, about 2001, we were very much interested in the talk. At that time, it was just talk of antiretrovirals. There was a lot of discussion and speculation about them, whether people in Africa would understand the regimen and whether there was not a danger that we would create a monster of a disease that would be drug resistant. But over and above that, the prices were so unaffordable. But I had occasion to meet and engage with a number of the major pharmaceutical companies, including Merck, Boehringer Ingelheim, Pfizer, and so on, and I explained to them that the need of my country and how that I could only afford about 5% of what they were asking. So that's how I came to be interested in the price of drugs, availability and price of drugs, life-saving drugs. Well, we haven't had a similar challenge. Obviously, people are hit who are continuing to deal with AIDS. And we have been lucky in that some of the drug companies, maybe because we're also one of the very first countries to go around shopping for antiretrovirals, they made concessions. They actually either donated the drugs initially or in fact only charged the 5% that I asked for. So I must give them credit for that. But it's not always the case, but in this case, yeah. My hope is that we should be able to bring about a reconciliation between the legitimate interests of the inventors, the creators of medicines and medical technologies on the one hand, and humanity, which these creations are supposed to benefit. The situation where drugs are created and medical technologies invented in order to help humanity, and then they become not available to those who need them. It's a contradiction in terms of self-defeating, and therefore I hope we could bring about a reconciliation, acknowledge the legitimate interests of innovators and inventors on the one hand, but at the same time achieve access and have everybody agree that medicines and medical technologies are created in order to benefit humanity, and that it is senseless for this to be created and then be denied the very people for whom, in principle, they were created.